Hi, everybody. Just checking in, making sure everybody has their ears on. You can hear me. Please just make sure that you have your audio connected and you've got all your technology going. We're about ready to start in a minute, or less than a minute. Looks like we have about 54 people in the room. We have a few people I'm sure will trickle in. So here we go. Just wanted to, can somebody, those of you who are familiar with webinar tools and you were able to type in a message to us, just message us, make sure you can hear and you are able to receive this transmission. All right, everybody. It is that time for us to rock and roll. I just want to make sure that you have your technology working. Before we get into this, I'm going to do some housekeeping. First of all, I appreciate the indulgence for us to be able to dress in the attire appropriate for this occasion with the Precast show that we came through in February, and now we are here to talk to the Precast industry stakeholders in a way that hopefully we can relate to you, because we've been doing some work in this area and we want to be able to help you out. So let me just give some housekeeping on the webinar. There's a little bit of a lag from what I'm speaking to the time you will be receiving this, so we want to make sure that you understand some foundation. The main context of the webinar tool is you have the columns on the right hand side that has the actual command console, which allows you to see polls and type messages in. We will be going about 45 to 50 minutes, depending on how long I get. I sometimes get a little long, but the main thing I want to do is get through all the, let's call it the slideware, and actually talk about the things that are probably the most valuable, including a demonstration that will be a recorded demo that we are going to present, so we don't have any technology glitches with the internet and all that. If you do see on your screen, and I'm going to just highlight, if you do see on your screen this section here that has the poll, please notice that there is an offer, a file link, and a I can't see that actually. It's in the poll that allows you to be able to tab between those three tabs. When you see those pop up on your screen, that means we're doing a poll, so you can tab over there and you can take a look at that. Okay. If you want to send us a message and you have a question, all questions will come through text. We do not have an audio two-way communication. We are going to do text-only messages. We do have some assistance from Forsys. We do have some. Hold on a second. I think we have some technical challenges. Give me 1 second. Okay, looks like we have maybe some isolated challenges. Okay, so there is a lag. So from the time I'm speaking to the time you see this, there will be about 15, 16 seconds. Please deal with that, because the internet is not exactly the strongest everywhere. Okay, so notice that the messaging and this section here that has the polls will be what we'll be looking at for your feedback. Okay. The next piece is if you look at the details. Once you move to the tab, you will see a poll. I believe there's a poll up and running right now. You will also see a file download. So this presentation is available for download. I will make that available towards the end of the presentation, so you don't get distracted. We're actually going to go take you through this process now. Okay. All right, a little bit about myself. Let me just clear my screen and start going into a little introduction. Those of you who don't know me, I think you certainly know about Forsys. Forsys has been at the Precast show in February. I joined Forsys about 2 months ago, and I have a strong background in cloud systems. I have a background with Aptus, who also is my former employer about 2 years ago. I led the IBM Aptus migration, but that's just not the only thing. I'm a strong technologist. I've got over 35 years of experience in taking many companies all the way from startups all the way to enterprise and cloud systems to the cloud. You know, everybody has their 15 minutes of fame, and in my case, you know, if you are doing online internet banking, I was actually working in a company that took online banking to the internet for the first time ever in some years ago, which feels like, you know, donkey's years ago. Also, Also, if you do any online reservations and online live bookings on the internet, I worked for Holiday Inn and took them to the internet with live bookings many years ago. So I've been a technology embrace. I've been embraced technology for many years. So I'll leave it on that. So I have a lot of scars to share with you guys, and we can jump into additional introductions. Today the presentation is between myself and Mark. I'll let Mark introduce himself here.
Thanks. Pleasure to be here today. I'm Mark Flaum with Aptys, now referred to as Conga, as some of you may know, post-acquisition. And as part of my role at Aptys, I am a director in our business transformation division, where we really focus on the process as well as the technology and marrying those together for the best outputs. We work with about 30 customers plus a year. We used to go on site, not so much anymore now. We do it remotely. So we see quite a bit across a lot of different verticals that goes on. Prior to Aptys, I was a customer. So I worked at Citrix Systems for about 16 years. The last 5.5 of those years, I was responsible for implementing CLM as well as CPQ at Citrix. And then I managed the CPQ practice there for 5+ years. 40,000 products, 1,500 salespeople, really from a new product as well as a renewal side. So a lot of experience in the trenches as well as with our customers.
Thank you, Mark. So what we'll be doing is we'll do a handoff. Mark and Aptys and Conga have been really supportive on our webinar presentation. He's going to join me into the presentation on the key pieces, so you understand why the stack that we're going to be talking about can help you build your business. So let's get into the details. So first of all, the agenda. We're basically going to cover several things. It is going to be a fast presentation. I know 45 minutes is going to go fast. So we're going to talk about the why COVID and beyond. It's really important to understand we're not here to talk about what you guys can do right now to go online and share files and all that. That's not what this is about. There's a journey that we all have experienced in the COVID as a result of the COVID crisis. We're going to cover that, but really, if you embrace the changes that are coming as a result of what the outcomes of COVID is going to be, we're going to cover what the new norm is going to look like. Certainly, how the guiding principles that we follow and we embrace when we take our customers to do either automation or transformation. We're going to talk about that. We'll also talk about some specific technologies. We, Aptys, as well as Aptys Conga, as well as Forsys, we have partnered on a B2B strategy that allows us to be able to really create the best of both worlds. That allows us to be able to take you to another level of your operation, if that is the right place for you all to grow right now. We'll also talk about the sales operations. Focus on what is CPQ. If you're not familiar with this terminology, my apologies. We assume that you're on this webinar because it's important for quote to cash and configure price quote, and we'll talk about why this is an important piece of the puzzle. Okay. The next piece that we'll do is we'll go into brief the benefits of CPQ and CLM. Mark will cover that, and we'll go into the life cycle. There's many pieces of the puzzle in the enterprise life cycle for what we call the middle office. Mark will go into that, and we'll feel free to. By the way, I didn't mention this. Feel free to post your questions in the chat group. It looks like a couple have come in. We will be trying to address those as we go, and I'll try to catch those as we go. But if I miss some, we're going to catch them at the end as well. Okay. All right, the next thing we'll do is we'll talk about how do you scale your business from where you are today, depending on if you're a startup or not. And we're going to scale your business and take you to the next level in a post COVID new norm. Okay, and given the approach for the building block structures. Okay. Once we do have a case study, but instead of talking about somebody else's benefits, I'm going to actually show you a demonstration of some of the use cases that we've seen with some of our other clients in this space, where we have been able to create some transformational opportunities for them. So we're going to cover that, and this will be the chance for us to do a demo. There's two parts of the demo. One we'll actually run a recording, and then the other one we'll talk about the designer and what we have done that really is changing the game in the industry in terms of how you can embrace a B2B strategy, which is part of the recommendations we see in the industry. And then from that, we'll go into the benefits of Forsys, Apttus, and Salesforce, and then we'll go into the Q&A section. And we do have a giveaway. So those of you who came here for the giveaway, yes, of course, is going to be at the end. I'm going to hold you guys to that to the end. But there is going to be a giveaway. The giveaway, we'll cover the details a little bit later, but we're going to go into the slides now. There is going. By the way, if you guys are tech savvy enough, have your phone handy, because I will put up some QR codes on the giveaways, because this presentation is one-way stream, and you don't want to wait till you get the deck after the fact to sign up. So get your phone ready towards the end. I'll cue you again when it's time to just scan your QR code, and you can do a survey. You can sign up for the giveaway. It is a first come, first serve, so we'll go through that. Okay. Just a quick check for me on the questions that are coming in. Oh, looks like we do have several people coming in on the poll. If I'm going to close the poll out, let's just do a quick check on the poll. All right, look like we have 6% of our folks coming in from EMEA, 3% from North America, Canada, 8% from the East Coast, 13% from the Central, and 32 from the West. Okay, sounds good. And then South America, we've got a few people in there. And wow, that would be interesting to know where other really is. But you all can message us if you're part of the other and you're coming in from a country that we did not expect, or a region that we didn't expect. The next question I have is, I do have another poll before I jump into the presentation. I would like to know what topics that you have. Actually, hold on a second. I just got to go through my mechanics on my side. How did you hear about it? Okay, I'll give you 1 minute or less. Please jump on the poll, open up the poll tab, and let's get through the where did you hear about us? And let's find out. There we go. Looks like direct marketing is the winner. Oh, looks like LinkedIn is the winner now. This sounds like a horse race. We're going to go forward. Facebook, somebody's boss told him. 13% of you all had told you, your boss told you to be here. Gee, I hope I can live up to your expectations. Looks like we have quite a few Forsys partnerships. Keep going, finish up the polls. Looks like we have a little bit of a neck-to-neck race between LinkedIn and direct marketing. If you can't see the poll results, it's coming up. I'm going to get ready to close the poll. Okay, almost done. 3, 2, 1. Okay, end of the poll. All right. So it looks like about 23% of you all found us through our direct marketing program. Thank you to our marketing team, who's done a bang-up job to get the word out. Obviously, we are already a partner with some of your clients in the precast industry, but it is it would be really good if you all can continue to promote if you like what you hear today. Okay, it looks like LinkedIn and Facebook and 13% of my boss. I want to know who your bosses are, so we'll find out that a little bit later. And of course, we got Forsys partnerships and also Conga partnerships, where looks like we are good on the poll. Thank you very much. All right, let me get started. So looking at the presentation. It's important to ask the question. I think you all are here because you understand the challenges that we all face. I mean, we all have experienced the problems with COVID. But if you look at the problems that are in front of us, does anybody really believe these problems are going away? It looks like there was an article that I actually did in my research to share with you guys. There's an article that came from the World Economic Forum, and I want to read this to you because it's a really important quote. Okay, it says, unsurprisingly, organizations that were furthest down their digital transformation journey before the COVID-19 struck are tending to adapt to the crisis better than their peers. Okay, so they were a little ready. They could share files. They could do remote operation. That's the start of the journey. Their business models and working processes meant that they were able to pivot more rapidly or accelerate changes that are already underway. The businesses that lacked the robust digital backbone or the online presence have struggled. Okay, if you feel like that's you're in that mix, and these problems are going to go away the minute the social distancing goes away, people can go back. there's lots of opportunities in times of struggle. And by the way, one of the other articles that I did read was about the fact that in a time of struggles, there will be many companies that are not going to make it. If you're a company that is underinvested in your processes and automation and technology, you're going to struggle because of the financial impacts of this. And there's an opportunity for growth in tough times. So some of the companies are going to grow through acquisition. It might change how you think about your business going forward. Okay. All right. So speaking of going forward, let me just recap what the article talks about. The journey to the new norm. I think we've all embraced the fact that we had to resolve the fact that the COVID virus was upon us. We had to be resilient. We had to understand how to deal with the distancing and also operate your business wherever possible, where you can be in a remote operational manner. One of the things that I found when I talked to some of our partners on this topic, people think that COVID is all about working remotely. Okay, and it is, and that's not the only thing. And the other thing you have to understand is that things are going to change, because as people are starting to work remotely, they want to work independent, have experiences on buying and selling and transacting businesses online in a way that it really is convenient for them. And that is going to be a change for a lot of how businesses are structured and how they operate. So looking at the return back into the new norm, there is going to need to be some new way of thinking. This is about reimagining how we do business, where we do business, how do we handle discontiguous operations, how do we handle workforce by health issues or by regulation in terms of how the workers come back to work. And then how do we take this and scale? So we're going to talk today about the topic number 4, which is about reimagining what the future could look like. So today's all about reimagining and going forward. Okay. Now, this next slide, I do not want you all to try to read this, because this is an eye chart. I hate slides that come at me like this way, but I do want to talk about the things that I think that are important. There's an article that came out that was from McKinsey, and it actually talks about 7 key actions of success. And I'm just going to highlight just the bolded letters up here. Accelerating and changing the way you do business in a post-COVID world is really highlighted by the key points about accelerating rollout and adoption of digitalization. I'll try to say that 5 times, and enabling e-commerce. Right, this is doing business in a remote way, doing business in a convenient way. This is about basically how do you continue to maintain the tight relationship you have with your customers. See if I get my hat straight back on. All right. So how do you embrace with your customers? How do you embrace with your through different channels of distribution? If your business is startup or if your business is mature and you're doing digital e-commerce today, there is an opportunity for us to really improve our processes in between, and we'll talk about that in the middle office context. There's no better time to upskill the entire workforce. People are willing to change, they're willing to do some things. If you have a business that is resistant to making technology changes, this is an opportunity to do this in a way that really enables your employees and your customers to behave in a different way. So don't ignore that. This is a change management opportunity. Building towers across, build a control tower. You need to be able to have transparency and see how your business is operating, no matter where the geographies are, and being able to have the ability to control how the processes operate, what your approval cycles are. All those things play into managing your end-to-end portfolio. You cannot have disconnected, heterogeneous systems that don't have any connections between them. Okay, players that have increased their transparencies across the portfolios are much better equipped for optimizing and sourcing. It changes how your sourcing methodologies work. We also really need to look at the integration value chain, rollout of digital tools, R&D investments. All of these are challenges that we can embrace using technology. And today's conversation is about how can you leverage technology to to get closer to your customers, making sure the customers' preferences are accounted for. If they like to pick up the phone and call you, and you're losing business because you're basically they're low value transactions and they're repeat business, put them on the web. Have them go out and do stuff that allows you to be able to still engage with them, give them the one-on-one relationship that you have while maintaining your customer engagement with them, and keep them in your pipeline in a more successful way. Okay. All right. So I like to do crazy things like word clouds. So in a summary, if you look at the actual digital transformation context, these are the key messages that came out of the McKinsey article. It's all about the future. It's about managing your portfolio, working across lines of business. If you look at your go-to-market strategy, if you're not a digital business, and you have the ability to connect all the dots, connect your supply chain, connect it with the customer, deal with an e-commerce context, roll out to your customers an experience that delights them in a way that you still may have maybe a slightly distant approach using a web e-commerce, but you engage with them in a way that is rich, and it's a richer experience for them. There are new players in this market. Certainly, we can bring some new context here to be able to help enable these capabilities in with your business. But how do we do that? So I'm going to switch over, and I'm going to switch to having Mark talk a little bit about our partnership and why does CPQ, the configure price quote, really make a difference to our customers, and then we add digital commerce on top of it. Thank you, Mark. Take it away, Mark.
Yeah, definitely. So, when we talk about the middle office, right, it's really the portion between CRM and ERP. The CRM is really referred to as the front office, and ERP is considered the back office. So what's in between? Apttus was the one who coined the middle office. And really what happened, what we noticed was there was this need for high compute and for a great usability for end users, right? Typically CRM only had great usability, and ERP was really good at compute, but not really good at usability. And so what really started coming about was this middle office. The middle office is really comprised of three major elements: quoting, contracting, and then what we refer to as revenue management. Under quoting, CPQ, configure price quote. Under contract, contract lifecycle management, also referred to as CLM. And then under the revenue pillar, what we call, that's really comprised of some order management, billing, and rev rec. To be clear, these do not take the place of your ERP. A lot of times you just need to augment certain things that your ERP does not do well within the revenue pillar. And so sometimes handing off some of these processes to the middle office makes a lot of sense. It can be extremely expensive to manage an ERP as well as to make changes. And the flexibility in the middle office really allows that to be done a lot more competitively. So when you really think about the middle office and the technology improvement, it's all around two major things: competitive advantage and reducing your spend, which is interesting, right? Because we're going to say, hey, you should go spend some money here. But overall, when you look at this in its entirety, if you think and plan, you will reduce your total outlay. The three major outcomes that really get produced from here is the customer experience, increase in revenue and margin, and efficiency and effectiveness, right? So do you have a great experience for your customers when they want to quote through e-commerce or any other mechanism? Is it accurate? Do you have to come back multiple times? Do you have to ask multiple questions? A lot of people will pay a little bit extra if it's just a great experience. Revenue and margin, right? And they are separate. Some people are really concerned with top line. Others are really concerned with the margin. Are you doing rogue discounting? Do you really understand how you should be discounting in different areas? Can you upsell? Can you cross-sell? These are just some of the items within the CPQ. And then when you really look at the efficiency and effectiveness, right, is putting this all together in a seamless process, combining it with your contract so you have everything else single location. You're not having to go out to multiple systems, maintain different permissions, I can't find certain things. It's about setting this foundation, starting a journey, and going on. On the next slide, we're going to talk a little bit about the value that we typically see from our customers. So in this slide on the left-hand side, you'll see a lot of great improvements, right? These are ROI. So we did a third-party study. This is what our customers said to us as the improvement, right? So you'll see quote quality. So do you have to have additional rework cycles? Faster time to quote. This is really important because when you look at something like this, in many industries, the first one to quote is usually the one that wins the deal. So are you losing out on opportunities or leads or new deals because you're not fast enough, right? The other person has a better solution, easier to use, right? It's about all how to get more effective. And then there's some other ones, but really looking at those key outcomes, what are you trying to improve here, right? Is it accuracy? Is it speed to market? Is it really reducing some of your products, right? Is it really confusing for your customers? Looking at margin, which we kind of spoke about, how do you increase deal size? These are typical business outcomes that our customers tell us they need to change. So they have something in the back of their mind. They maybe don't articulate it this way, but they have a problem they come to. And these are the problems that the middle office solves. Next one. When you look at it from a contract lifecycle management, CLM, right, it's a little bit different here. A lot of times, the contract and the quote really sit together because those line items that were on the quote now need to be on the contract. And even if they don't, they need to, certain terms and conditions based upon what you quoted may change that contract. So really having an integrated process in this middle office is really key. And when we look at what our customers, again, said to us that we had a third party, you can see, yes, obviously there's going to be compliance, right? Now you can track all your terms and conditions. But if you have large customers and you're slow at that contract processing or negotiation, this will help improve it. It will help, reduce the number of amendments. So if you didn't have the right clauses in there, then you need to go back to your customer after the fact and say, oh, by the way, we need to amend your contract. Kind of forgot about this other clause. Don't worry about it, just sign it, right? It's really hard to go back. You don't want to do that. And so the contract management really focuses on some of these items that tend to be overlooked. And then, I don't know if it directly correlates into the precast industry, but when you really look at those auto renewals, right? So what does it say at time of renewal? Are these prices going to automatically increase? Are they going to stay the same? Well, if they are going to increase next year, maybe you have a term inside your contract that is based upon the raw materials, and there's going to be a CPI increase every year based upon raw materials and CPI. Are you getting back those elements next year? Do you know even if you put them into your contract? And so really looking at compliance optimization, accelerating the sales cycle. Can your salesperson even generate a contract? Do you have guardrails around there to really enable them to do their job effectively, and really so that your legal team or legal ops can focus on the bigger deals, the more important stuff, as opposed to just supplying a contract, asking a lot of questions. And the middle office really enables this kind of integration between the two, and then ultimately allows you, to easily maintain this in an e-commerce. You don't have to build it twice. You build it once, and then you expose it out through the e-commerce for your customers to consume. Tim, back to you.
All right, coming back to me. Thank you. Thank you so much, Mark. All right, so let's talk about what does all this mean. So I want to summarize at this point the key things that I think we have seen in both some of your competitors and some of your peer groups. But it's really, this is not just about the precast industry. So I want to share not only the methodology that we would like to highly recommend for the precast industry, but there's some tenets here that are really important. So the practical steps for moving towards a sort of a new norm is about leveraging technology. You saw the article from McKinsey, by the way. If you're not reading the articles, if you want to see the detailed article, it's a pretty good write-up. When you get the PowerPoint back or the PDF, there are hot links in there. They'll take you to that article. Research it, take a deep look. It's not just our message. It is a message that's coming from some of the top players in the market. But here's the recommendation we have. Really look strongly about implementing your technologies. If you have had an investment strategy that has been very low in technologies, and certainly the precast industry does not appear to have, let's just say, deep roots in embracing technology, but it is something that you should consider as far as how do you get ahead of the game? How do you move the ball forward? How do you embrace the new norm? And it's all about taking advantage of some of the implementation technologies. But let me tell you what, if you talk to the CFOs and the financial side of the business, they all go, oh, technology is always so expensive, and technology is very difficult because we're constantly having to upgrade and do all that. The strategies that we're going to share today is really about changing the trajectory of your investments. And it's really about taking the investments that may have already been made by your business right now to go and operate from anywhere and anytime, to really focusing on how do you then change how your business operates, and do it in a way that allows you to do sort of a technology investment that is incremental and on a lower trajectory from an investment, so you don't see that you're spending more money on your technology over time and constantly replacing systems. And the best way to do that is with the systems that we have put together for some of your competitors, which includes Apttus, which includes Conga, which is the foundational elements that allows us to build a building block structure. So let's just take a scenario, okay? We've learned from working with some of your competitors that the configure to order or the engineering to order represents between 30 to 35% of the business revenue, and it is a growing segment of the market. So looking at the technology investments, it makes sense to truly spend the money where you can continue to embrace your high value and high touch business and streamline that. I'm sorry, your high margin business. I said that wrong. Focus on your high margin business, and the high touch business. You can potentially shift that focus. For example, the renewals and reorders of some of your business. Those are the make to order, the build to order, the assemble to order life cycle business parts of your business in Precast, which represents 60 to 65% is on average is what we've discovered. If you can shift a lot of that work, the workload and the attention in sales and sales engineering and order lifecycle processing, so those renewals can be done through a digital process that is low touch, but you focus on your high touch, high margin business like the ETO and the CTO business, that is it can be a game shifter. And we think that that's actually a good thing to promote in terms of focusing that. So to that end, we've actually done some technology in integrations that allow your business to shift your game a little bit using the CPQ as well as the design elements of engineering that is in this industry. The other thing that is happening is as you start losing your workforce due to illnesses or attrition or whatever that is, coming back and solving the problems that creates, which is taking your expert salespeople and really codifying their business policies and knowledge and their expertise into configuration and rules that all your sales will become experts. You don't have to go through the ramp-up learning cycle of the churn of individuals through the process, so you can enforce your governance that goes back to your control tower. Have a control tower that allows you to be able to see how your business is operating. Are you over discounting? Are you rogue discounting? Are you having to fulfill contracts that were contracts that were written on a napkin or in a way that maybe it was misunderstood with not with the right languages, and now you have to fulfill those contracts and come clean on that. All those inefficiencies in your life cycle can be solved through automation and through systems. But it's really about looking at your expert sales, not only providing your expert sales knowledge in your business in an e-commerce context or in your configure process, your CPQ, your configure price and quote life cycle, But if you're not a configure, price, and quote, but you're an engineering and then order business, this allows you to have the flexibility to be able to integrate the flow and change how you interact with your customers in a way. Foundation, a unified database, and a unified system that allows you to literally seam this stuff together in a way that makes sense. Of course, we got to go digital. We got to go digital in a way for multiple reasons. You can't have things in drawers, forever. Moving to a digital paperwork lifecycle, reviewing, signing, and all that, as Mark pointed out in the contract lifecycle management, allows and reduces all these errors and allows you to really have a proposal that comes back to your clients in a faster way, and you can be the first one back to provide a qualified quote and win the business. Okay, and shifting. This is one for the CFOs and the financial people in the business. Moving your IT investment from I've got to buy servers, I got to buy systems and all that. Move it to the cloud. Move from a CapEx investment strategy to an OpEx. If that makes sense for your financial model and your investment model, move that investment over to a cloud-based systems. Everything that we're talking about in our portfolio includes cloud-based solutions that allows you to be able to truly scale where cloud is best at. Okay, and then it's all about building the scalable building blocks. And I'm going to talk more about scalable building blocks in the next slide. Okay. All right, so what is a scalable building block? Let's talk about this. This slide is a little hard to read. I don't expect you to read this, but I want you to look at the colors. If you look at the blue bubble at the top, the blue bubble is all about having an experience management. This is about what we talk about, a B2B experience using on the underlying Apttus CPQ CLM, regardless of whether or not you've got an ERP system that is on Salesforce or it's on some third-party system. All that is about integrating and having a foundational structure that allows you to do that. We have partnered with Apttus for strategic reasons. Apttus is built and runs on Salesforce for also strategic reasons, because it allows your business to scale incrementally in a cloud environment. The blue section of the chart is all about managing your client experience in a way that allows the B2B e-commerce experience to be omni-channel. Now, what does omni-channel mean? Well, depending on your business, where you are in your life cycle, you could be a startup business, or you could be a highly mature operational business, depending on your business scale. You want to be able to invest your technology in a way that you don't have a client experience and you've got a reseller experience, you've got a partner experience. All of those includes discount structures and price structures that are completely separate. They're through Excel files, they're through manual processes. All of that just goes away. You create a unified experience using the touch point with your customer, your partner, your channel partners, whatever your life cycle is, whatever your go-to-market strategy is in the middle. It allows you to be able to then sit on top of a unified system such as Apttus that allows you to be able to do your configure, price quote, contracts, etc. Okay, and billing, etc. Okay, now let's talk a little bit more about the underlying, pardon me a second, let me move to the next slide, so jumping ahead. So how do we do that? We actually have a product called Rise Storefront. We have broken it up with three major tenants in place. And the three verticals that you see here represents, on the far right-hand side, the business value to our customers, and they are seeing these values based on our design and our go-to-market strategy to support the external client experience. As I said before, it's an industry-specific and optimized experience. So here's the difference. You can go and try and get a B2B e-commerce system, and then you have to customize the heck out of these things. What we're doing different in this business is, for example, Precast. We have done and built optimized templates that allows you to jumpstart your business in a way that is optimized for that industry, and it is optimized for the best practices of the business processes in this area. This is a huge advantage, because what you're getting is years and years of experience that is represented by us and the knowledge that we have had not only in CPQ but also e-commerce, and we're bringing it to the market, so you can have rapid time to market on the right hand side of the chart. You have lower cost to deploy. our system is deployable in weeks versus months. In some cases, honestly, I've worked on large accounts where it has taken them 2 to 3 years to actually get the value out of their B2B e-commerce. We're talking weeks versus months with the work, because we have built a no development oriented designer. Allows you to build your pages using our expert templates, specifically for the vertical industries, that allows you to sit on top of CPQ. Anything that we expose on the web portal allows you to be able to have a drag and drop experience. Even your marketing, advanced marketing users can build the web pages and have the creative experience. It is a no-code experience. It automatically also deploys into Salesforce, so you are sitting on top of a Salesforce experience, or you're also sitting on top of a cloud experience that allows you to be able to run your cloud store in a way that requires very low technology knowledge or investment. But the benefit for your client is they have an omni-channel experience, and you can have an omni-channel experience from a direct customer to your middlemen, your B2B, your direct partners, your channel resellers. All that can be a workflow process that is integrated. It is a unified experience end to end. Okay, so please, I want to make sure that as we're going through this, we're in the core and the heart of these things. If you have questions, please start writing these, putting them down on the page, so we can start capturing your questions as we get towards the demo. Okay. All right. So looking at your business and what is right for your business. If you look at your business scale, and your scale is either you're a startup, and I haven't drawn the picture that shows everything in between. You can be a startup, or you can be a well-established business. Your selling strategy and your go-to-market strategy is going to add complexity. Your maturity of the number of products you have and how you sell it and how you resell it is what creates the high degree of complexity in the industry. What we have done is we actually have an assessment process that allows you to be able to look at your business model. Where are you coming from? Are you a direct a B2B sales partner, or are you in a complex selling strategy where you have distributors, resellers, marketers, and your product gets bundled? And how do you maintain a client experience with the end customer while you maintain the seamless operations in between? And the level of sophistication required to go from a startup, and let me tell you what, lots of startups, live on Excel. They've started on Excel. They live on Excel. They think the world will end and Excel will still be there. The problem is it doesn't scale, and it creates a huge amount of overhead in your operations. So if you have an Excel-based business and you think you're happy with it, you might want to revisit that, because it changes the whole game when you look at an integrated platform that allows you to share information across not only the tools like Excel, but also a unified database that allows you to connect all your channel distribution and your add complexities in workflow. I'm going to show you another chart that actually highlights some of the things that we can talk about. So if you look at the same chart that I had before, from a seed business all the way to mature business, and depending on where you are, you can profile yourself, and you can put a pin in this and say I'm on the far left, or I'm in the middle. The go-to-market strategy, and this looks simple, quite frankly. No one size does not fit all, but we want to share the concepts here. If you're a small or mid-market or large company, moving up the scale becomes a very difficult and very painful process. And we're here to really change your trajectory of complexity through out-of-the-box experience that allows you to do that. So as we look at your operational model, if you are a business that is, let's just say in the $50 million to 50 employees, $25 million company, or if you're a 5,000 and $300 million company, but you're operating with your investments that are down here on the bottom left-hand side of the chart, it's going to hold you back. So we're looking to do an assessment to be able to help companies through this process. So I'm going to move forward, and these are just conceptual about where you are, where you could be. This is an engagement where you could look at this, and we're offering a rapid assessment to be able to jumpstart you if you're looking to figure out where you are and where your investments are. So I'm going to talk briefly, because we're running a little bit long. I want to give time for the demo. Before we go into the demo, we work with some of the customers in this space, and these are some of the key challenges that we found. Basically, the proliferation of SKUs. This is not an uncommon problem for a lot of businesses. You start out with one or two. You may have a dozen products, but when you start looking at your sales strategy and how you are selling those products to your direct customer, to your resellers, and how you configure them, whether there are options and configurations, all of the products and SKUs become a nightmare to manage. We work with customers where they had several thousands of SKUs, but if you really get down to it, they have a handful of products. In reality, you want to sell them in a way that's easy to configure, easy to add options, easy to visualize. All that is built into our e-commerce RISE platform that allows you to be able to visualize it as an easy portal while you maintain a underlying sales strategy that makes sense. For example, you may have an engineering to order life cycle, or you may have a make to order life cycle, or whatever. The cycle time to service those clients is one of the key pain areas we found with a lot of our customers. So we have built some automation around the integration for the complex areas, such as the configure to order or even the engineer to order, and we're bringing some new technology embedded into ours that allows our customers to not only see a shopping cart experience, but also see a visual experience on how to configure this. This is specifically for the precast industry, because the precast industry is very much about a 3D modeling exercise. You may think that you're trying to buy something off of the catalog, but you can't see it, you can't visualize it, you can't rotate it. All that is in the visualization tools that we've embedded, and creating a custom configuration, whether it is a CTO product that is a configuration out of the box and you want to configure it so now you have a different version of it, but also the engineering to order lifecycle that you have a one-off build that's from a catalog that we can start with, then we build on that, and we dynamically create the SKUs that can now be sold to the customer, and it is something that that is tied, so there's no exchange of information that is manual between the systems. It is all done through integration and allows you to be able to have a rich experience back to your customer. Now, whether you're in a life cycle, like I said, ETO or MTO, CTO, the process is seamless behind the scenes. It allows you to interact with your salesperson or directly with your customer in that context. Okay, so I'm going to share a video now. I'm going to go off camera for a minute, and I'm going to show you about a 4-minute video to just shows you how the customer experience could look using our tooling. So while we're doing that, I'm also going to put up a poll. So when you see the poll icon, please take a look at that. So give me 1 second. The videos are coming up right now. Hi, this is Tim Fraser from Forsys. I'm here to give you a quick introduction to the RISE storefront. It is an integrated e-commerce platform with the Aptus CPQ engine from Conga. So I've got 2 different tabs. Follow my illustration here. This first tab that says RISE, this is lightly branded. You can put your banners and all that. Just get some orientation. This looks like a standard shopping cart. It looks like a standard login. You can have a user experience which is anonymous, or you can have a user experience for your channel partners as well. But in this example, since location in the precast industry is very specific to how you price and how you deliver your products, it is because of the weight and the load and the geographic context of delivery. A lot of the inventory is controlled by the local distribution points. So in this particular case, the user experience requires that you pick your region in terms of where you want to ship and where you want to buy from and shop. A lot of the cities, for example, that are looking to buy equipment, if it's a business or if it is a government institution, they know where they're buying from. Typically, they know the regions and they have the standard specifications for that region that is important, so they buy specifically from local factories. So that's one of the key reasons why location is an important attribute going into the shopping experience. We can also configure this where it is a shopping experience, and then location where the products are can also be built as part of the navigation, but in this particular case for precast, it is the opposite, where location is the top level choice of shopping. Now, on the left-hand bar, these are the categories and products that are for sale. This is obviously a quick demo, and so we have very few things in here. But you have the typical shopping experience with the scrollable list of all the featured products that are available. If you just scroll down, these are not fully configured. This is just an illustration of other barriers and other products in the barrier category that can be done. And it's got the standard layout. This has got the vertical layout on the left-hand side. The next branded product with the same store database underneath it is the next one I'm going to tab to. This particular one just starts out with, with a barrier, highway barriers as an example, where you focus on that particular one. Let me actually go back. So this does not have all the tabs, and this is a little bit lighter weight implementation for the user experience. Now, looking at these two user experiences, I'm just going to focus on this one. This is going to give you the ability to navigate to what you're looking for. You can do, obviously pick your location. Go pick California. You can search for products. I'm going to actually check. I'm going to start with barriers, like we have here, traffic barriers, and then as the page loads. Out of the box, this is the experience. This looks like a standard shopping cart experience, but in reality, based on who you are, if I had logged in as a channel partner or distributor, I would be getting my negotiated price for this product, and it also tells me for this region that I did a search for. This is what I am that I selected on the previous page. This is the availability lead time in that area. So this is an out-of-the-box experience. It does not the complexity under the covers to understand inventory and find the products is an interface that goes out to the regional context to be able to find your lead times based on obviously what you're buying and how many you buy. Now, this example, we can show a couple more kind of cool things if you look at the specifications. So here we are. The 3D viewer has launched. In this particular case, it's a 2D rendering of a 3D image, and this is a small example where you can navigate your image, and you can use measures and do markups, etc. You can fit the screen. You can print this. This is a 2D rendered model, but the integration that we are also offering includes a 3D rendered image. So if you're just in viewer mode, you can see that the end user can see a pre-configured product. If you want to make any changes to this, you move from a shopping experience, which is a build to order, make to order, to a configure to order. So you can actually see, for example, you may want to move these holes. These holes may have an option to move up and down depending on the way the barriers are, or the various snap points may have different types of materials or different configuration. All that can be done through a navigation using a 3D rendering. Now I'm going to illustrate a barrier configuration that has been done in a 3D rendering tool that allows you to be able to fully manipulate the 3D object, which includes all the configuration options. And by the way, when I say configuration, that is a shopping cart experience terminology, but those are actually engineering options as well. So as you look here, we've added a hole for lifting hold. We've also got change of the dimensions. You can go 3 meters or 6 meters in terms of length. And this is all done through the 3D tool that allows you to do full-on rendering in a 3D modeling tool with layers. You can also see the wireframe diagram, which you see here, which allows you to be able to fully look at this model. Now, as you change this configuration, all those configuration choices can ending up into the CPQ options in terms of attributes on that shopping cart experience. That will drive a behavior that allows you to be able to configure this visually and have a full-on shopping experience with a fully rendered product. And this could be a configure-to-order product, so if it's not a custom configuration, this is the best way to illustrate this. So specifications allows you to do that. Now, like I said, you can start with the shopping cart experience, or you can switch it out to having a full-on experience between a 3D integration and modifying the model, and then shipping it off for further engineering and engineering review. And that is the precast industry first to allow you to have a two-way interface between a shopping cart experience to semi-configuration, semi-custom to a full-on engineering to order experience. So let's just add this to the cart, and we can have a quick illustration of what happens. Let's just say I pick two of these barriers, and I pick both of those. This is a very common shopping cart experience here. The layout can obviously be controlled in what this UI looks like. At the end of the day, we have added 2 items to the cart. You can see the items are in the cart. You can view the cart. This looks like a standard shopping cart experience, right? So as you look at the shopping cart experience, you have your configured prices. If you actually go through the checkout process, this is where the underlying magic occurs. This is not a normal flow in a shopping cart experience, because your shipment has to also be shipped to you, because in the precast industry, the product is shipped to install, right? So the trucks will deliver literally on site for installation. So it is literally built to install. So in this particular case, it looks like we'll be needing a boom truck and a wide load truck and maybe a pilot car. This is just a sample of what we would be building. For the total cost, for the shipping cost, is now included. And as we go into this process, where if you have a standard product and you're just out of the shelf buying it, then this is pretty cool. We have a version of this that allows you to punch out at this place. Okay, I'm going to stop at this point because of the interest of time. We ran it a little bit over, so let me switch back to the presentation. So if you saw the demo and you want to see more, reach out to us. We'll give you the direct one-on-one on that. There's a lot more here. So let me tell you what we have actually did. There's this link that I'm going to share. I'm not in presentation mode. My bad. Okay, all the links to the videos are in the PowerPoint. You can download this. It's a PDF, and we'll share that with you after the webinar, as well as on an email back to you. So I'm not going to go into the designer. Just so you know, the designer is fully configurable, so you can start with the template and build upon that. I covered that earlier. The exciting part about this is it is something that does not require software development. It is all configuration based, and it is done through a WYSIWYG editor. Okay, I'm going to skip through the designer slide. These are industry-specific templates. To keep in mind, for precast, you'll be getting the precast and industry-specific one, and that we connect to the underlying CPQ for the system. Now, in the interest of time, I'm going to, like I said, I'm going to lead into what I think the benefits that we're talking about. It's really all about leapfrogging your business. And as you look at where you are today, ask yourself the question, what is it that your company needs to do to be able to really scale your business and move into a shopping experience while retaining your customers and reducing your costs and capturing market, while your competition is not? This is an opportunity post-COVID and the new norm to change the game, guys. So look at this in that context. I'd like to let you all know how to get some information. There is a 2 to 3 day strategy assessment. If you're interested, we can take a look at your current business model and look at the domain areas where maybe you're interested in I'm going to put a poll up. There's some topics over here that you might be interested in. Please take a look at the poll tab. If you're interested in any combination of these functional areas, whether it is CRM or it's CPQ or just B2B e-commerce, or it is the contract lifecycle, go ahead and start clicking on the poll while I go into the next topic, which is really the giveaway. Okay. We're going to be offering a 2 to 3 day assessment that is for the first 10 customers that sign up. You're going to get this for free. What do you get for it? You get a pre-engagement rapid assessment questionnaire, so it helps us jumpstart the program with you. You get a two-day virtual visit with key stakeholders, and it allows us to be able to go into the detailed analysis and assessment for your business in the context of your strategy, where your investment plans are, where your business is growing, and then allows us to come back and do a readout. And it is a rapid process. We normally take a much longer process to do this, but we're doing this on 2 functional areas that are on in the survey and the poll. So please take a look at the survey and the poll and start clicking on those, which areas are of interest to you, because we can always follow up with you on that. Now, I'm actually going to go into the actual context. So get your phone out. This is the time. If you're interested in the rapid giveaway and you've got your phone, you can also, actually, I think the video is getting in the way. I'm going to cover it up. So get your phone out and click on that icon. Take a picture of it, and it will launch the URL, or you can just go to bit.ly Forsys Rapid Assessment. So you can get in. The first 10 customers, not just first 10 people who sign up, the first 10 customers, companies that sign up will have an opportunity to get their assessment done. We're estimating the retail value of that is about $30,000 to deep dive and give you a roadmap. There is no commitment to go beyond that. If you want to go forward, we can continue the conversation with y'all, but this just gives you an idea on where you stand, and you're going to get it for free for the first 10 customers who sign up. So start clicking, join up. So I'm going to now move on to the next thing, which is really important. We really want to know how we did. I know we ran over on time. We're right at the top of the hour. I appreciate if you can stick around for 2 more minutes. This is the summary for the rapid assessment. You can click on this one more time if you're ready. Now, we need some feedback. Let us know how we did. What can we do different? Would you want to see another one of these webinars? Again, there's a feedback. It is a SurveyMonkey. Please take a look at that and start filling that out before you forget about this, so it's still fresh in your mind. So get your cameras out, take a picture. I know we're running a little bit over, but this is going to be in the PowerPoint deck. You can also take a shot then. And if you want to know how to reach us, follow up and follow at an email, which is info@forsysinc.com. This will allow us to be able to reach out to you directly and answer any questions. My apologies. We have actually gone far enough where we have not been able to answer any direct questions. Mansa, you are actually monitoring those questions. If you have any that we feel like we have not covered, if you can repost them here or message me directly so I can quickly address that while we got people on the call. Okay. All right, so leading to the end, I just want to thank everybody who's been supporting us in this program. We are here for you, Forsys as well as Apttus. This is more about us. If you want to know more about how we can pursue, a follow-up conversation with you, we'd be happy to do that. But if you want to get onto our next step, which is the Jumpstart Assessment Program, please jump on those quickly. The first 10 customers get that assessment for free. You can take a look at who we are and how you can find us and what we do on the rest of the deck, and how Conga and Apttus is a strategic relationship with us. So on that note, I'm just looking. Looks like we have the poll. I'm going to end the poll and share it with everybody so you can close on this. You can see. Hopefully somebody can confirm that the poll is visible. Looks like a lot of people are interested in CRM, also CPQ, CRM only, but they're looking at CPQ and contract lifecycle. CPQ and CLM is the high interest areas. Billing is there, but not as much, but they're not sure. And if you're not sure and you want us to follow up, please follow up with us, and we'd be happy to answer some questions. We are ready to provide support for you all to take your next step. So thank you so much. I appreciate assistance from my colleague and from Mark and my team from Forsys, who's provided tons of hours behind the scenes to make this thing happen. So thank you so much, guys. Appreciate very much everything you have done for us. And until next time, have a good day.